to day 8 of the How to Make Money Online 30-day challenge. Today's topic is podcasting. What do you think? Whoa, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you back. What do you think? Does this work? Do you think this this mic? I got my headphones, I got my microphone. What do you think? Not even 30 seconds in. I got to tell you, man, as soon as I saw that you put in the chat, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. I gotta take these off. I gotta take these off. Oh man. Now I can hear. Holy crap. Yeah, they really muffle your sound right there. That's pretty crazy. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Really, really appreciate it. All right, now that we can get this crap out of the way. Now I can hear something. I can't hear it. It was all muffled in there. Thank you guys so much for joining. Really, really appreciate it. So today's topic is going to be talking about podcasting. Welcome again to the 30-day How to Make Money Online Challenge, where we're going live every day for 30 days, talking about a different topic, different business model where you can make money online. So today we're going to do an overview of podcasting. And I don't know. I mean, podcasting is such a unique thing to me. It's a cool thing because I feel like it's just, really you're kind of just like telling a story, and you're basically just, you're talking to a microphone and you're kind of just, telling about your day or whatever it is. And um, I don't know, it's cool. You get people to listen to what you have to say, and it's all like through the ears. So yeah, so okay, so let's start with the overview of podcasting real quick. So if you're new here, you have no idea what podcasting is. Podcasting is a powerful, powerful medium used for sharing information, stories, and discussions, overall chatting with audiences all over the world. And it definitely offers like a super unique platform and a way for somebody to kind of express their ideas and their stories and their life experiences, that kind of thing. But also by the same token, you can build a community around podcasting, because usually people that do podcasting, they actually do either they start out just doing the podcasting, or what they'll do is they'll actually like videotape themselves like for YouTube, but also extract the audio. Really? 2.5 minutes in, I already can't talk. They'll also extract the audio just for the podcast itself. So we're gonna get into everything. You guys know how it's on A to Z. We're gonna talk about podcasting. So we're gonna talk about, the planning part, the setup, the content creation, the marketing, and we're gonna go through all the steps, kind of step by step from the very beginning, and just give you guys a high level. So really appreciate everybody being here. Whoa, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining again. I really appreciate it. So, okay, so let's start from the very beginning. So, we're going to talk about planning your podcast. So, in the beginning, like we always talk about, right? So, you have to define your niche and you have to define your target audience. So, and those are really going to kind of be, not even necessarily one and the same. It's more about what your niche is first, and then your target audience is going to kind of be adapted around what your niche is. And if you guys have been here with us on this 30-day challenge for a couple days or for the entire thing, first off, thank you. I appreciate it. But you'll hear us talking about, defining a niche or finding a niche, that kind of thing. So that's basically at the basis for anything you do online, as far as finding your topic, finding what it is that you want to talk about, what it is that you want to share with the world. So that's basically finding your niche, and defining your audience is basically finding people that actually care to hear what you have to say. So, and really what you're doing is you're finding like-minded people, and that way you can go through and, you're building a community essentially around what you have to say, through a microphone, that kind of thing. So this obviously, this would not be a good mic for podcasting, obviously, because I mean, I guess you could probably start with it. It has like a little aux jack in the back, but um, you're gonna probably need something a little more heavy duty than that. And we'll actually go through um, some good options here a little bit later for, what would be considered some kind of like a standard setup for podcasting. So, hey Nicole, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. We're talking about podcasting here, so definitely stick around if you want to learn about podcasting. So, we're going to identify your podcast, the main topic, and the target demographic. So, the main topic is basically going to be the same as your niche. So, once you have that kind of figured out, so whether you're starting a YouTube account, whether you're starting a channel, whether you're starting a podcast, or whatever it is, affiliate marketing, anything out there, you're going to really want to focus on what is your main topic and who is your demographic that you're going to be addressing. So, next, you're going to conceptualize your podcast. So, decide on what the format is going to be. So, are you going to do interviews where you interview people back and forth? Interview somebody and you're going to have a conversation, either sitting like face to face or sitting, next to each other. So, um, then you could do like a solo show. So basically, what you do is, you're just talking yourself either into the camera or just into the mic, which goes into the audio interface. Or are you going to do a panel, which basically means it's you and then a couple, some other people like around you, and you're going to all kind of chat and discuss this topic. Sweetums, thank you so much. That was quick like that. Boom. I looked down. Boom. Message retracted. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I started this by I wanted to introduce this live stream with my podcast microphone here that's not connected, and I had to get out my podcast headphones right here. Yeah, if I can grab them. I had to get my podcast headphones. So yeah, the beginning of this is pretty cringy. So, may end up cutting that part out, but that's all right. You want to start it with, make it as, you know, lively and friendly as possible. I always like to start with a sense of humor if I possibly can. So, you haven't missed really anything, Sweetum. So, so all we've gone through so far is we talk about planning your podcast, which involves defining your niche and your target audience. And then we were kind of just moving into like conceptualizing your podcast. So meaning you're kind of deciding on what your format is. So is it going to be like interviews? Do you interview somebody one on one? Like a solo where you just kind of talk about stuff by yourself, like either into the camera or just the audio, and you can extract the audio and upload that. Or, excuse me, is it going to be like a panel? Meaning like you as kind of like the main podcast person, and then you have people around you, kind of like on a news show or whatever, like a talk show where people are kind of around you. So, and then finally about how long you're going to have your episodes. And I think with everything else, like with YouTube, with all kinds of different social media where you're creating content, I mean, unless you specifically say, okay, this podcast is going to be an hour long every single time, I think it may be smart to just kind of let it kind of happen, or let the chips fall where they may, so to speak, and just kind of let it happen organically. So next up, and I think this might be this mic right here, Nicole. This yeah, I don't know what this is. I think it's a it's one of those all in one, like, kind of it came with like a blogging kit. I think it might be a, I'm not sure the brand, but it's not very good. So anyway, um okay, so the thing that might be one of the more like important or crucial things, kind of similarly to creating a YouTube channel, is choosing a podcast name. Countdown for Sweden. So, choosing a podcast name. So basically, you want to select like a memorable name and a relevant name at the same time. So it could be something that's actually based off your name, or it could be something you have in mind, something clever, something really catchy. So it's just a matter of, what kind of topics you're going to cover. What's your niche? You're going to have more like a general sense. Um, so really, that's going to be kind of something that you want to think about before you really get everything going. Like we talk about, setting our foundation and yep. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Whoa. So the Shure mic. So I've seen that. You see a lot of these. Um, yeah. we see a lot of these podcasters, like specifically like Think Media or like vidIQ. These guys all use like Shure. Um, so I'm sure there's like Sure. I'm sure there's one like kind of main podcast mic. I can't remember the actual model itself, but I know it's Shure something. And we'll definitely look that up because I'm curious too. Because I definitely need to get a mic because all I'm doing is talking in the phone. So I definitely need to get a mic for sure. So I was actually thinking about, getting one of those little like kind of, lapel kind of, you know, a DJI or some kind of like a pocket mic. So, when I'm out and about, just, it'll cut some of the noise and some of the background. So, okay. So, yeah, Sweetums is right on. We definitely can't recommend you steal anything, Nicole, but you want to buy something? Yeah, you want to buy a mic. I mean, Woe suggested the Shure mic for sure. That would definitely be the way that I would go too. Um, okay, so next up, you're going to develop a content plan. So what does that mean exactly? So creating an episode outline and a release schedule. So similarly to awesome, cool. Thanks, Sweetums. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why the link kind of showed up kind of funky like that, but oh, it's all good. Thank you for offering the information. So, when you're developing a content plan, you're going to think about, okay, you have like how many different episodes do you want? Are you going to break it into seasons? So, like, for example, some people do kind of the standard like season one, season two, season three, and so forth. So, are you going to develop it that way? And actually have like a release schedule. And I know some people that actually do like a bulk, like they record all of their episodes in like kind of one chunk. Doesn't necessarily mean in one day, but they record them all in one chunk. And then they just kind of like drip them out. So like episode one is like 1 week, and then either you wait 1 or 2 weeks and then you drip out another one and so forth. Um, that's kind of the way that some people do it. Some other people just release the whole thing, like release all of their episodes all at once. And that's really just all kind of part of your planning and seeing how you actually want to do it. So it's all personal preference, however you want to do it. So, but that's something definitely to think about in terms of creating an outline and making sure that you have some sort of release schedule in mind. That way, you know that you can kind of keep yourself in track or on track, that kind of thing. So, okay. Okay. So next we're going to talk about the technical setup. And I know we kind of mentioned a little bit here about, the Shure mics and honestly, like I don't typically I don't necessarily like to recommend exactly like a specific product if I don't actually own it and use it because, I want to make sure that you guys, I'm recommending something that I know is good quality, but I do know that Shure mics are probably one of the top brands of mics that you can get. Just like a simple, I mean, I'm looking around like I have something here. I don't have anything, but just like a basic mic, you can get a mic stand for pretty cheap. I'm sure it's like less than $100. Um, so we're going to talk about the equipment. So what do you actually need to run a podcast or to set up a podcast? And there's actually only a couple things, at least at first, to get started. So you need a good quality microphone, and that's what we were kind of talking about. Number two would be headphones, and I'm kind of partial to like Bose because I just love the way that they fit in the sound that comes on. It's got a nice tight fit like around the head. So I've always liked Bose, but really the headphones, as long as you're not using something like this, I mean, I suppose you could use something like this, like a kind of like an earbuds or that kind of thing, like a Bluetooth kind of ear. But I think you really are going to want some really high quality headphones, especially if you're going to be talking and listening for quite a while. You're going to want to actually have something. So I would definitely say for me personally, like I've had Bose before. So that's what I would recommend as far as like that high quality headphones because you want to make sure you can hear and everything is really crisp. So, okay. And is the next up is the audio interface. So basically, so what does that mean? So the audio interface is something that you can use to actually, it's like a little box kind of thing. And you basically, what you do is you can plug in your mic, you can plug in your headphones, and then that basically goes into the wall, and then you have another extension that goes into the computer. So basically, something that is allowing you to like input the audio. So in terms of from the microphone itself, so it goes in, it essentially goes into this little box type thing. The audio interface, think of it as like a kind of like a, I don't know, maybe a little bit bigger or a little bit bigger or smaller than like a tissue box kind of thing. And you just plug all your cables in and then it routes back out and it's going to go into your computer. And that way all of your audio that you're talking and you're speaking through, it can all get recorded. So, and that's basically how you record it. So once you have the audio file, typically it's going to be an MP3, and you'll be able to take that and you can go upload it then to whatever platform. So, and we'll get to that here in a moment. So, okay, so that's invest in a good quality microphone, headphones, and audio interface. So those are good. So choose a recording software. So really, it's kind of like whatever your personal preferences as far as what you like to use. Here are just some examples. So Audacity, I know works on Mac and PC. GarageBand is only for Mac, Apple products. Adobe Audition, I know works really well. I believe that's for both. That's dual for PC and Mac. Um, and those are just some of the very like I mean there's a ton of them. So really choosing the right software is really up to you. If you have experience using some particular software, then definitely I would say go with that. Or what you can do is just search around. Maybe you want to sort it by price, like whatever you feel like. If you have to buy a license, you could determine, okay, what's the price? I have a budget of this much money. So especially when you're just starting out and you're not like doing um, really professional. So I know for sure, Sweetums, I know Audacity and GarageBand are both free. Adobe Audition, I think that might have a free trial. Let me see. I think that might. Adobe Audition price. Okay, so it looks like, um, okay, so Adobe Audition, it looks like that one's paid because it's in the cloud. It looks like there is a free trial for that one. So it looks like the trial is 7 days, and then you're paying about it looks like 22.99 a month, so like 23 bucks a month. And that the reason is because that's in the cloud, so that's all like online. So there's no actual physical media software in that. So everything is gets uploaded to the cloud. So that also would be another option if you wanted to have something that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about like the physical media, like a CD-ROM or DVD or anything. So something that's in the cloud, is going to like auto save. So that might be the best choice to do. If you have, if you don't have a CD-ROM or anything, or what you can do is if you have something that already comes with a computer, like if you have a Mac computer, GarageBand already comes with the computer, so that's something that may also kind of by proxy be something that you start with at least, just to kind of get the swing of things. Maybe you do a couple episodes, and then you kind of work in, and then you can always kind of move towards and kind of graduate, so to speak, to the next software. So it's almost kind of like, when we were talking about YouTube yesterday. So I started with the video editing. I started with iMovie, and I used that for probably it was at least a year, I think. A year, maybe even more. And then eventually I went over to DaVinci Resolve, and that was the best decision I ever made as far as like editing goes. So I would imagine this would be very, very similar in terms of starting out with something like GarageBand, if you're on a Mac, or Audacity on PC, and then just kind of moving up as you get more experience and you get more, you're learning and you kind of figure out what you're doing, that kind of thing. And maybe also you look at the features, right? What features are really catered to you, and what do you think you could maximize as far as using, like feature wise? So, but okay, so that's recording software. So setting up a recording space, this might be tricky just in terms of like if you have a lot going on in your personal life with, family and kids and all that kind of stuff, animals, pets. So you really definitely want to have a quiet space, and you want to optimize the sound quality. So I know people that actually get those, I don't know if you've seen those foam kind of like cutouts that have like they almost look like triangles on them. And really what it is just to kind of like soundproof the room, or the booth, or I've seen people do it like in a closet, that kind of thing, because it's a very enclosed space. So that might be an option if you don't have like a separate room that you can dedicate to like using as your studio. You can always do like a closet or someplace that you're able to have more of an enclosed space, so you kind of, because you don't want the outside audio coming in and contaminating. So for example, if you're on like a two-story house or three-story house and you're doing this maybe in your kitchen or somewhere in a bedroom, and then you have family and other people, there's other noise, other background noise that kind of comes through. um, it's hard to cut out that noise even with the headphones on. So you really want to make sure that you're in a really as small of a space as you can, just in terms, I mean, you don't want to get claustrophobic, but you want to be as small space as you can, just so you can maximize like the actual audio, the audio waves. So um, yeah, how we doing out there? I know there's a lot of stuff coming at you guys rapid fire. I just want to welcome everybody here to the 30-day live stream challenge. This is how to make money online 30 days. So today's topic, obviously, we're talking about podcasting. It's day 8. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. As always, feel free to drop any questions or any comments into the live chat, and be happy to interact. We love interacting, so definitely don't be shy. Just put any questions or anything in there. Obviously, be respectful about what you're saying, and you know, we have excellent mods. So if it gets out of hand, obviously we gotta, keep it within YouTube's policies. But so yeah, otherwise feel free to ask any questions, and we love interacting with you guys. So definitely post that any questions in the chat. So okay, so we're gonna move on to creating content. So recording your first episode can be a lot like filming your first video for YouTube or for TikTok or any other social media, whether it be faceless or showing your face, because it's something that's new. It's something that, I don't know, you may or not. I mean, I still get nervous when I'm about ready to hit live, and just being like, oh man, I've done this for how long now? It's like over a year, and I still like feel the nerves like kick in. So um, I think it's just one of those things where you gotta kind of just jump in the deep end, as they say, and just get going, start swimming. So for the first episode, you could think about, okay, so do you want to write a script or like an outline, just for kind of like guidance, to be able to kind of like something to follow, and because I mean, you could videotape yourself, but if you're just doing it strictly for the audio, then you can absolutely or literally read off a piece of paper or a screen or something to be able to actually like keep yourself on track. Um, so I don't think that's a bad idea in any way, shape, or form. And I think, kind of like complementary to that, you definitely want to conduct like a test audio recording. So for sure that the audio levels are, they flow pretty well, your voice isn't like really drowning out, that kind of thing. Like the highs, when you're talking into the mic, it doesn't like, it's not screeching or anything. So it's really important to conduct like an audio test. So, and you can even just maybe read a book out loud, or read anything out loud that you can actually get a couple of sentences or paragraphs in, so you can see how the inflection in your voice sounds. Maybe take it back a little bit. Maybe have to drop, the bass and the treble, and all of those are built in not only to the audio software, but some of them actually could be built into the audio interface. You don't have the little knobs for like the equalizer. So it's really just a matter of, I think, how fancy and how, I guess, how in depth do you want to get right away. And with everything else, right? I mean, even like if you're doing YouTube, like, um, you know, I still definitely, I'm filming on the iPhone. So I don't have, a fancy camera or any of that stuff. So um, there's nothing wrong with, hey, you guys doing? Earning Empire, how you doing? Thank you guys for popping in. Hey, just if you guys want to learn about podcasting, just definitely hang out. But otherwise, try to keep the chat definitely respectful, you know what I'm saying? So, but you guys are more than welcome to stay for sure. Just try to, hang out and ask questions that are related to podcasting instead of falling down the stairs. So I like that, but, you know, try to keep it on topic. So Hey, Earning Empire, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's see, where were we? Okay, so we're talking about creating content. So once you do your test recording, then you should be able to like listen back, and that's kind of the beauty of the headphones. So you definitely want to listen for the headphones, listen through, and kind of hear exactly what you recorded. So, hey, Earning Empire, you didn't miss much. So we just kind of talked about, let's see, we talked about how to start a podcast, kind of like the bullet points, planning your podcast. We talked about a little bit of the technical setup, and now we're kind of diving into the creative content, creating content side of things. So basically, like recording your first episode, writing a script, that kind of thing, and checking your audio levels when you do your first episode. So, yep. Okay, so now we're going to move into editing your episode. So, and just remember, I want you guys to remember that, yeah, you're welcome, no problem. So, I just want you to remember that none of these live streams, I mean, this 30-day challenge is not meant to be a super in depth, like expert, you know, look into any of these side hustles or business opportunities, kind of like business, what is it called? Methods. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, but it's really just meant to kind of spark maybe some interest. Hey, Grand Shirley, thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah. All right. The back. Good to have you guys. Thank you. Yes. Seeing you and you guys and whoa, I mean that's it. And Sweetums, that made it. That made the live. We can all go home now. I'm just kidding. So no, but thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So we were just kind of doing, you guys didn't miss much. We were just doing like a quick recap, kind of overview of, we'll just cover it real quick. So um, so basically, Grant and Shirley, basically, yeah, what we did was plan your podcast. We talked about that a little bit, talking about your niche, the technical setup, some of the basic equipment you need, like microphone, headphones, audio interface, some of the recording software, and now we're kind of talking about like creating content. So, yep. So recording your first episode, and now we're talking about editing your first episode. So, sorry, Earnings Empire, you got a question. So before starting a podcast, do you pretty much, sorry, I need like have glasses. Do you need to already have an audience before you start? So I think, to be honest, I mean, I would say no. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same, along the same line or the same vein as like creating a YouTube channel. The same kind of thing. So it would be primarily just audio technically versus like video for YouTube. So yeah, I don't think you need to have, I mean, with everything it kind of makes sense. And it's a little easier if you do have like a pre-existing audience or something that is kind of, you're building your community around. But I don't think it's 100% necessary because as you kind of get the word out and whoever the platform that you use to like host your podcast, kind of like everything else, right? People will find you. So, yeah, no, that's a good question. Sorry, I got hiccups. I'm trying to break it off with this water here. So, okay, so when we're talking about editing your episode, so the first thing you really want to do, you want to make sure that you're going to remove the background noise. Hey, Maria, how you doing? Thank you so much for the comment. Really, really appreciate it. So it's cool to do video by then, and then by default, and then extract the audio because you have both. Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. Absolutely. Sorry, Maria. I almost said Marla. Sorry. Maria, I apologize. My eyesight is not the best. So, yes, that's an excellent advice. Because you think about like, I mean, one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the land, right? Will just, good, bad, right, wrong, other. So Joe Rogan, somebody like Joe Rogan, right? So not only does he have the actual podcast, like the audio itself that he pulls and he puts up on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that, but obviously he also does like the video. So for YouTube, right, a YouTube channel or Instagram or wherever. So yeah, Maria, that's crucial. I mean, talk about like syndicating your content in terms of having it in multiple platforms. Not that any of these platforms are just gonna go upside down, like one day, hopefully not. I know for sure I can't imagine YouTube's going anywhere, but yeah, no, I that's such great advice. And I was thinking that too. So I was like, all right, well, so if I'm already kind of doing YouTube, I need to get Maria. I think you missed my podcasting mic. This is the mic that I used when oh yeah, and you guys missed it too. So this is a mic that when I started. I think Woe was just the only one here. So this is my mic. Not really. It's just a joke. And here's my super crazy headphones. These little earbuds. So I can you see these? I probably wouldn't recommend this kind of thing because you need some really high quality headphones to be able to hear the audio and really hear kind of the inflection and the tones and everything. So I definitely wouldn't use earbuds. Yeah, 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 it does, right? This actually came with a it came with a what do you call it? Like a blogging kit, like a standard kind of super generic vlogging kit that comes with like the microphone, and then it comes with like a little. I don't have the light around here, but it comes with like a little light, like a square light, and then what else? Hey, Dragon Rider, welcome back. Or sorry, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Um, it comes with like a little light, and then it also comes with like some headphones, some really crappy headphones, and a little like kind of like tripod stand or whatever. But um, so I mean that's kind of part of how it is with like podcasting too, right? I mean, this is kind of like what I started with, like this kind of tripod thing. Um, so I mean, and then as you kind of go along, you slowly upgrade as best you can, budget wise as best as your budget permits. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions like that I'm learning as I'm kind of researching all these topics is it doesn't matter if it's like vlogging with YouTube, anything, podcasting, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, you don't have to have the craziest, most insane equipment like to start. Like you don't need like $1,000 like, Sony A7, I think that's what it's called. But those really crazy, I mean, those are awesome, right? The digital cameras. But same goes for this. You don't need to have like a high-end mic. I mean, it's got to be better than this piece of crap, but you know, it's just a couple $100, but so the mic is probably the most important part of podcasting is the mic. And then obviously you want it to go into the audio interface, but we'll get into that a little tiny bit later here. So yeah, but I just wanted to start that out with something new instead of the same old crap. Like, all right, I'm gonna talk, and then I got So I'm trying to make it a little more entertaining because how many days we got left? We got 22 days left of this challenge, you guys. So we're 8 days in. I'm like, I got to think of something new. So um, okay, so Dragon Rider says, do you have the numbers of how many people listen to podcasts versus YouTube versus other forms of media? So you know what? I don't, but I could kind of grab. You mean like percentage wise, right? So let's see. Okay, let's see. I would think that honestly, it would probably be higher with podcasts. I would imagine, um, for people that are actually in terms of people that could listen because if you're driving to work or if you're stuck in traffic, that kind of thing, you really can't or you shouldn't be watching your phone, like watching YouTube, but you can listen over the Bluetooth on your phone or your car or whatever. So I would think that listening to a podcast, the viewership of the audience would be larger than it would be for just watching videos. Because I think that's definitely something you can take that's portable. Um, so it looks like, let's see. Okay, this is from Morning Consulting Pro. Never heard of this website, but it's got a couple million views. It says um, they found nearly a third. So a third of people out of this is Americans, but a third, so 32% say they prefer to listen to podcasts compared to 26% who say that they prefer to watch video. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a good chunk of people that probably prefer listening versus like watching. I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for all of it, right? But I think it's easier to listen to a podcast for sure in the car and when you're traveling or when you're working out or that kind of thing, um, unless you can focus on a video. So, yeah. So Dragon Rider asked, yeah, like, is it worth the time and energy to invest in that as well? I definitely think so. Absolutely. I think especially if you like talking, if you like talking and you enjoy telling stories and you're able to articulate. It doesn't have to be the most intellectual sounding podcast, but if you can captivate people and you can actually hold their attention, then I think you got a really good shot of, building an audience, that kind of thing. So I definitely, it's to me and my, it's definitely worth it for sure. Um, yeah, absolutely, Dragon Master. So let me grab that. I had that list real quick. So okay, yeah, I had that and I closed the thing. Okay, so this is the top, it looks like the top 10. So I'm going to list for you guys the most top 10 popular, and this is in no particular order. So, yeah, for sure. True crime definitely is up there. So it looks like, and this isn't in exactly the same order, but so we have sports, true crime, right? Paranormal, which is a personal favorite of mine, books, entrepreneurship, celebrities slash gossip, film, psychology, reviews. So I guess any kind of reviews. Um, then it says like technology, cooking, and pop culture. So yeah, I mean those are all pretty. I would say the top ones are probably true crime, celebrity gossip type ones, and probably sports. So those are probably the top ones. Because something like somebody like Joe Rogan, who like is arguably the most I don't know popular podcast in the world. It just has a bunch of different topics. So he's not focused on just one topic. But you have other people that are focused just on sports or just on true crime. Um, I'm just curious, really quick. Does anybody out there watch a show, Only Murders in the Building? It's on Hulu with Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. I'm just curious because that's about a true crime podcast, and in my opinion, it's done really, really well. Oh yeah, it is. It's such a great show. So if you happen to have Hulu, definitely check it out. So if you like any of those actors and you love true crime, it's definitely a nice marriage. It's an excellent. It's so funny because I mean, you're watching this TV show, but at the same time, you're actually trying to figure out what is actually happening, like the actual true crime aspect of the show. So you kind of like submerged in this world of like they're not just actors, but they're actually trying to solve this crime. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely. I would think as far as like celebrity podcasts for sure, Earnings Empire. Yeah. So what about celebrity actors who host podcasts? That doesn't make the top 10. Yeah, I think that's probably part of celebrity too. So I think sorry, did I say that? Yeah, celebrity is in here. So celebrity, yeah, I think was like number 5 or 6. Celebrity slash gossip, I think, is kind of like fits into kind of one category. So yeah, that's definitely, I mean, it's something that it's so interesting that, you know, there's so many different ways that you can kind of approach it. So um okay, so we're gonna move on here to editing your episode. So when we're talking about, and remember, we're just going to kind of talk about high level. So editing your episode. So you definitely want to remove like the background noise and all of the static and the other kind of noise. Like speaking of noise, I don't know if you guys can hear our dog barking, but anyway, so you want to remove the background noise, and if you can, you want to add music and or sound effects, something that is really like relatable and something that makes sense with the audio that you're actually the content that you're actually producing. So, hi Sayed. So, what is fast? I'm not sure. I don't know what that is. We're talking here about podcasting. So, yeah, definitely stick around if you wanna learn something about podcasting. So, next, you want to ensure like the flow of content is like smooth, but it also like methodical. So it actually goes together. So it actually runs in the same. It makes sense to kind of like piece it together. So you're basically starting at the beginning of a story or an experience, and you're kind of taking somebody through like audibly. You want to be able to do it so if somebody were to close their eyes, they could actually like go along with you, and they could visualize and picture what you're saying. That kind of thing. So. Next up, you want to definitely create episode artwork. So basically, what I liken that to is something to the effect of maybe like a thumbnail or like a featured image, that kind of thing, just specifically for that particular episode. Because I know when you're going through and, let's just say you're on Spotify or some other platform, um, you're going to want to have something instead of just like a blank background, that just has, some text on it. So you want something that is going to be a little intriguing and draw somebody in, and you want them to get kind of like lost in what the episode is about. So I'm going to pause there for a sec. You guys have any questions out there? Anything about what we've covered so far? Okay, so earnings empire. Sorry, the chat it was like slightly delayed. So are there any other platforms besides Apple Podcasts and Spotify you should upload to? Yeah, so there's definitely some other platforms here that I think people actually upload to. I mean, those are definitely the top two, but I would say here's a couple in no particular order. So SoundCloud, you guys have probably heard of SoundCloud. Um, so Buzzsprout, this one's really like a beginner friendly type of platform. Buzz is Buzz, Buzzsprout. Um, Blueberry, which is really good for like WordPress users if you're going to kind of like integrate your podcast through a blog. Um, Podbean, which is best for like monetizing. So Simplecast, which is best for as far as like professional recording and that kind of thing if you're going to use a team. So those are about the top probably five, six, or seven or so on this list. So um, yep. So it really depends on, it does cost money depending on what platform you use. So for example, we can go over to Spotify since Spotify is the number one. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna pull it up real quick. So okay, so Dragon Rider says, so if you post your podcast to a blog, would you stream it from your blog post? Yeah, you could. You definitely could stream it from your blog post, and you could actually have it. So if you embed the actual audio from your podcast, then you can embed it and it'll play. It'll show up as like a little window on your blog post. Okay, let's see. Maria, see, Maria asked, do you know which ones you are the owner of the podcast content? Um, let's see. I'm sorry, Maria. I'm not too sure um, your question. So, do you mean which like platform or oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So like you sign your rights over to them. Yeah, when you upload your I know for sure like with Spotify, when you upload it then you basically, you're kind of handing over your rights because you're allowing them to like broadcast it out. Um so yep. Let me just double check cuz I know with Spotify that's how it works, so sure, you're welcome. Okay. Nice. Okay, actually, so I must have had the wrong impression when I was doing these research because it says, so do I own the rights to my own podcast? It says this is only for the United States. This answer is for, but it says US copyright law protects both published and unpublished works. So your work is technically copyrighted from the second you make it fixed into a tangible medium, basically meaning the file itself. In the podcasting's case, this means as soon as you've written a script or recorded an episode. Yeah, definitely. So I would say it sounds like the podcast itself, like the medium and actually the audio is yours as far as like the copyright goes. But if you're going to use other sounds and that kind of thing, you want to make sure that, yep. So copyrighted by the content creator. Yep. Yeah, you're welcome, Maria. Yeah. So similarly to like YouTube or other social platforms, Earnings Empire asked, so how do you make money from it exactly? So you would get paid based on the subscriptions and basically the amount of subscriptions. So it would basically be the equivalent of somebody following you or liking you or subscribing, that kind of thing. So, and I know Spotify pays, I think it's roughly like 5 to 10 bucks a month, I think. So let me see how much Spotify pays. Let's see. Okay, so Spotify pays, let's see. Okay, so it looks like Spotify pays rights holders, which is like the copyright, one of us, a content creator, 2/3 of every dollar they make from podcast content. So including premium tier content and advertisements. So that means, and that's probably just, I mean, I'm sure every platform is a little bit different, but that's so Spotify pays 2/3 of a dollar. So let's see. I'm gonna try to do this. I'm not gonna be able to do this in my head one. So that's about 66 cents. So you're getting paid about 66 cents from Spotify for every episode that you publish. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, that's something. And then on top of that, obviously, the more subscribers that you have, the more people that are listening. Obviously, you can introduce, you know, ads and sponsors and that kind of thing that you can place within, you know, in the beginning, in the middle, and the end of your podcast too. So yep. So I think it depends on how big your channel is as to far as the what the threshold is in order to actually get to have ads be placed. Um, it's not. I don't think it's like YouTube to where you can actually select, you know, what type of ads actually go in. Like if it's like a full mid roll or it's like halfway through. I think the platform itself, once you reach a certain threshold, then they'll insert those ads in there for you. Who gets paid from the ads? Okay, so Maria says future content. Love to see how to do the ads walkthrough for Google, Facebook, Instagram, or any other platform you believe would be absolutely. That would be great. I'm definitely writing that down. I'm taking notes on that, Maria, for sure. So that's definitely would be an awesome future video for sure. Yeah. So and that could go like so far. I mean, that could be a live. That could be something that's like more like a scripted video. But that's a great idea. I'm gonna write that down and definitely make sure to stay tuned for that in the future for sure. Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, seeing like the breakdown, because I've messed with ads on Facebook, I've messed with ads on Instagram, Pinterest, and not really TikTok, but those moan. So those kind of three major ones. So yeah, I think I think it really depends on. It looks like from what I'm seeing here, it's about $2 to $3 that you get paid for the platform. So it depends on what the niche is too. So let me see what the average cost for the income. Let's see. Cost for- So it looks like it says depending on factors like the downloaded numbers and the revenue streams in terms of like the platform themselves, like how many ads they put on your podcast episode. It seems like generally speaking, um, a podcaster with 10,000 downloads per episode may earn an average of between like 500 to $900 a month. So that might just be kind of like a general sense. Like it doesn't really say specifically like what platform, but so it looks like you can definitely, so for about 10,000 downloads per episode, you could get a couple $100 a month. So that kind of gives you an idea of, and I'm sure it kind of fluctuates a little bit with the niche, depending on what's more popular. So, and also the platform. So obviously Spotify and Apple are the two largest um, platforms for podcasts. So really, I mean, there's a ton out there, and you got to kind of figure the smaller platforms are probably going to have less of a payout, but it's still, if you're just recording your episode once and you have everything edited and you're ready to upload, then yeah, that is right. Earning Empire. That's a 10,000 downloads is a lot of listeners. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a fairly large podcast community. Yeah, that is pretty nuts. No, I love this. I love you guys asking these questions. And so some of this stuff, kind of came up in research, and some of this stuff just, you kind of come up on the fly. So I love that. I love learning too about it. And it's really giving me, some inspiration to actually like potentially think about starting my own podcast, trying to get all the equipment together and, get all that stuff. So I kind of have, an idea of what I'm doing. So yeah, Sweetums. That's a great question. So do podcast episodes have longevity? So Um, no, I don't think so. I think as long as they're on the platform, like older episodes, like as you kind of go on and record new episodes, um, they can still earn as long as they're on the platform, they're live and they're active, then they can definitely, excuse me, they can definitely still learn. Sorry, earn. They can still earn money. So yeah, so I think it's a matter of, kind of like on YouTube where, the older videos may not get pushed as much, but once you reach that threshold of being able to be monetized, then they can definitely start making money, even if they're, recorded months or even possibly years ago. So yeah, they kind of stay as long as they're active on um, your account or your podcast space or channel. I don't even know what you call it, like, but yeah, they can definitely still earn money. So. Yeah, definitely. So earnings empire asks, so the money you can earn from downloads per month is collective. Yep. So it can definitely add up and start compounding because the more downloads that you have, whether it be just from like your new stuff, because typically people just wait for the new stuff, but if they want to go in your back catalog and start downloading, other audio episodes, then yep, those all count towards as far as like if you're monetizing those old episodes too. So. Yep, which is pretty cool because it means that as long as you have something that's active, you can make money on it on your podcast, um, on the platform. So yeah, so Dragon Rider asks, how often to release new episodes? So I think really that's kind of based on the individual as far as how long it takes time to actually record the episode itself and actually go through and edit it, kind of like you're editing a video, but editing the audio, putting in the sound effects or you know the different kind of like B-roll for audio, that kind of thing. So different whatever extra sound that you want to put in. But I would say most likely, if you're dripping it out, meaning if you're dripping in, an episode out, maybe like I would say probably maybe once a week, I would say, as far as like releasing a new, depending on how long it is. So if you're talking about maybe like a 15 to 20-minute episode, you could probably get that out once a week for sure. Even possibly an hour episode. It really depends on, what does your personal time situation look like? how much time do you have to dedicate towards this? Do you have a team, or are you doing it all by yourself? But I've seen it to where, specifically on Spotify, where you'll have like there are these paranormal um, ones that we listen to, different podcasts that we listen to, and they definitely they drip them out. So it'll be like one, and then like maybe 2 weeks later they'll drip another one, even though we know that they're all recorded, um, because they come basically all polished and ready to go. So I think it really depends on the creator and how they want to do it. Do they want to just release all of them? Let's just say they put 10 episodes in one like season. They could do that too, or they can choose to drip them out. So basically, structuring or staggering the releases of the episodes. So yeah, I think I can see the positive for both sides. Dripping it out, meaning like letting your audience wait a little bit to kind of build the suspense and build the excitement and the engagement for the next one, to kind of build up that, hey, are you ready for the next episode? And but also I can see releasing them all so people can just easily kind of binge and go through. So I think there's pros and cons to both sides of it. So okay, so we're going to move on to talk about promoting your podcast. So a lot of these things are going to be super similar to what we've already talked about here in this challenge, as far as like the promoting side, the marketing side. But so the first thing that kind of comes to mind, besides the podcast itself, on the certain platform, the number one way to promote is definitely through a website or a blog. And the reason that that is over social media is because on a website or a blog, you actually have a place to embed the audio itself, like the audio clip, or actually embedding like a link or a snippet or that kind of thing, or even like a video. So if you were to video yourself, you could do a video, which would be, I think, even more engaging than just the audio, because you're giving your audience something to look at too. So promoting it with a blog or a website, and you can put in like the notes, like the show notes. You can put in all the information that you want to list about what is going on in the particular episode. You can do transcripts, and you can also add in some kind of miscellaneous information, whatever you feel is relevant for, to give the full description of what the episode is about. So, and then I would say number two down for as far as promoting your podcast would be utilizing social media. So basically promoting episodes on all the platforms, for like X, Instagram, Facebook. You could even do something like, obviously, like Instagram, even though there's no clickable links on Instagram. That's the only downside. They just have like the link at the top, like in your bio, which is kind of frustrating. But oh yeah, that's cool. Maria said, I like for the video, I like Wordly to translate into another language. That's super cool. I think that's really unique too, because you really want to capitalize on the power of, not just your local kind of country, but also, countries around the world, and be able to spread your audience. And if you can translate, your audio, your video, that kind of thing, or maybe not your audio, but you translate maybe the words on the screen. So it's kind of like a closed caption type thing. That's perfect. I mean, I talk about being able to reach out to a whole nother audience and just increase your follower base. Yeah, that's such a great idea. Sorry, is that what you were talking about, Maria? Like the actual words on the screen, as far as like if you're watching a video, translate the captions to like a different language? Sorry, that's what I kind of assumed that you were talking about, but definitely if you meant something else, for sure. Okay. Oh, audio translation or written. Okay. Right on. Yeah, so Wordly definitely, like, I haven't actually looked into that. I've kind of just played with, as far as just regular, like, kind of auto-generated captions. But that is very cool. That's super cool, Maria. I love that. I love that idea. So, okay, Earnings Empire asked, what about effective monetization strategies for podcasts? Oh, cool. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, definitely check them out for sure, Maria. Yeah, thank you for introducing that tool. Definitely. So, for effective monetization strategies for podcasts, I would say number one would be sponsors. If you can get sponsors um, to talk about, whatever, excuse me, whether it be a product or some sort of a service or a brand, to actually physically, like, I mean, audibly talk about them or mention them somewhere in your podcast, that would be number one to get a sponsorship. Number two would be if you're doing a visual, like a video and like a video podcast, you could show, either a clip or like cut to, some sort of portfolio view or, some sort of maybe like their website and kind of scroll down and really talk about what the product, the brand, or the service is. So I would say branding, definitely earning empire is number one. Branding, I mean, sorry, not branding, like sponsorships would definitely be number one. Number two would be you could also add in, you could put affiliate links in there. If you're linking on if you have your website and you have like the blog or the website, then awesome. Thank you, Sweetums. Then you could put in affiliate links below for maybe like your equipment. You could put in the equipment that you use. You could also put in maybe software or some sort of, maybe the tools that you use to help kind of automate your process for the podcasting. Um, that's also another thing, or even just like promoting like a product in itself. So I think affiliate marketing and podcasts could absolutely go hand in hand. That for sure, along with, sponsorships. Um, because you hear like stories all the time about different YouTubers for sure. They'll say, okay, here's a product, this video is sponsored by XYZ, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I was thinking earning empire. I was thinking, so what is the software to automate it? I was thinking something like you could take there's a software called InVideo. It's an AI software that you basically would just upload a script. So meaning if you were to transcribe your actual audio and you wanted to turn the words that you say into an actual video, some sort of a visually, appealing or visually stunning video that somebody could actually watch what you say in addition to hear it. Um, that's probably one of the best tools that I know of that can transcribe, or doesn't actually transcribe, but it actually takes the words that you actually insert or you upload into in video, and it'll create this pretty amazing, just you know AI video that has text, it has like graphics, and you could do sound effects and stuff like that. So it's almost, you kind of think of it like a lyric video, like on YouTube when you're trying to read the lyrics of like a song, that kind of thing. So thank you, Sweetums. Yeah, so that would be the way that I would go as far as like to automate that. I just think it's a no-brainer. If that was kind of the direction you wanted to go, um, then that's always an option. So yeah, I know that's crazy. It's crazy, right? I mean, it's just these things that we can do with technology is insane. And a lot of these tools like do have free options as far as, like Maria mentioned, Wordly, InVideo does have a free option, but like everything else, you kind of have a cap on what you can do or how much you can do. So they'll cut you off at doing maybe, 3 videos a month or something of that effect, or maybe they'll put in like a little watermark or something to promote the company. So a lot of these tools, as like specifically the AI tools, aren't that expensive. You could probably get them for maybe 20, $30 a month for a decent amount of, return as far as like whether it be, how many videos you can create or how much text you can put on, or integrating the actual kind of video scene, what you want to create through AI. But the best part about it is everything is unique. So when you create something with AI, that's not something that somebody can just create off the top of their head. It's all about creating something very unique in the moment and something that is unlike anything that's done before, because AI goes through and it's going to put all this stuff together and then it'll basically just spit out something like incredibly unique. So yeah, these are great questions, you guys. I really appreciate the engagement and kind of the interaction with everybody. So I'm just curious. I know a couple of you guys have been here for um, other live streams. Has is there anybody here that's their first time on one of our live streams, whether it be the 30-day challenge or just any of our live streams in general? I'm just curious if anybody is like brand new here. Awesome. Welcome, Earning Empire. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The support means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, no, we have a good time. This challenge here specifically is super unique. I'm having such a blast talking about it. Real quick, if you guys haven't seen any of the other live streams from this challenge, just real quick, I promise I won't go in a tangent. So real quick, the topics we've covered. So today's day 8. So day 1, we talked about affiliate marketing. Day 2, we talked about blogging. Day 3 was drop shipping. Day 4, print on demand. Day 5 was freelancing. Day 6, online courses. And yesterday we talked about YouTube. So if you guys want to check out any of that content from the previous live streams, all the lives are going to be up. So they're all going to stay up, and so you can check them out anytime you want. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I was telling so for those of you who are new or not sure, Sweetums is an amazing mod. She's our mod here, and definitely does a phenomenal job. Anyway, we were talking about my voice going and suggesting honey and lemon, and so I really appreciate it. Once again, I got on and I haven't done the honey and lemon, and I'm kicking myself again because you can only drink so much water and it's like cold. So, but it's all good. We're gonna push forward, right? Awesome. Thanks, Grant and Shirley. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you guys, if you happen to want to be part of, we have a Facebook group that we're trying to build up this community here, and Grant and Shirley, you guys graciously joined, and yeah, just a cough drop, right? And Grant and Shirley, you guys joined, and I really appreciate your support very, very much. So it's free. It's a public group. It's not anything weird. It's just, you know, it's kind of more of like a way to reach kind of more of an intimate level of, kind of a one-on-one. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check this out. Um, check out the group for sure. Um, so it's just a space that we could all kind of like come together and hang out and talk about, this kind of stuff instead of like there's nothing wrong with leaving comments and stuff on videos, but I think it's a little easier and a little quicker to kind of interact that way. So you guys are more than welcome to join if you'd like to. So, okay. So let's see. I think I missed a question here. Okay. Sorry, Dragon Rider. I missed your question. So, how would I improve my podcasting skills and delivery if I've never done it before? So, awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. Really appreciate it. So, Dragon Rider, I would say if you wanted to improve your skills, really what you can do is before you upload anything, before you publish anything, I think the best way to kind of get maybe feeling a little more confident is kind of just like literally like take action and just try to do it. So maybe record yourself, reading a book, a short story or something, kind of listen back in your headphones and really get a sense of how you sound, how you kind of, word things. Do you use a lot of filler words, that kind of thing. So I think it's really important to make sure that you know how you sound, but also you try not to be too critical of yourself, your voice, that kind of thing. Um, and it's all a learning experience, right? I mean, so you start with one, and maybe you create a couple of episodes, but you don't publish any of them. You just kind of keep them to yourself, keep them close to you, and that way, you kind of have something to go off of. And when you feel like you're ready and you kind of build a little more of your, personal experience, actually physically going through and talking into the microphone, reading a story or whatever it is, telling a story, kind of like retelling something, then I think that's probably the best way. Then okay, I'm feeling a little more confident that I can actually start. And by starting, I mean you can actually publish it to the world and more people can hear about it and listen to what you have to say. And I swear, I think we mention this almost every time on these live streams and videos, but I promise your group, your community, and your tribe will find you. It's just a matter of time. So you just have to keep going and you can't give up. You have to keep pushing forward and just whatever you do, I mean, try to get a little tiny bit better and whatever that means, kind of in your particular situation. So if that means maybe you're practicing pronouncing, yeah, pronouncing words a little bit, um, maybe more clearly, slowly, that kind of thing, when you're just doing like the pre for yourself. So, okay, so Dragon Rider said, is there a structured, tried and true format to create episodes, or is it better to be spontaneous? So I know that there is some templates out there, just some super high level kind of basic templates. But to be completely honest, I would think that it would probably be more unique and set you, like you individually, or set any of us aside if we did it ourselves and like made your own kind of structure, whatever seems to work for you. Or what you can do is you can try when you're doing a couple maybe of your test episodes, just by yourself. If you're not uploading them, you can go through and you can say, you know what, I like the way this sounds, but I meant to put this here or this piece of audio here, that kind of thing. So if you wanted to test with like maybe some sound effects or some other outside sound, to kind of beef up the episode as a whole, or to give it a little more kind of like body. I think honestly, in my opinion, spontaneous is probably the best way to go until you find your groove or you find a rhythm that you really like yourself. So that way you can set yourself apart and you're not necessarily, I'm not saying you're like copying somebody, but if you're able to actually go through and create your own kind of groove or rhythm, or your own outline, I think that probably would be the best for you in the long run, in terms of not just gaining more experience but being more comfortable with being able to talk and being able to actually like navigate through. Yes. Yep. Dragon Rider. That's right. So that's my advice, honestly. So trial and error and learning on the fly until you find kind of what works for you. And I think when we say what works for you, I think it really means like what feels right, what feels comfortable. You know, definitely whatever we're doing, whether it be something online or just something in life, you get those moments, those aha moments, and you're like, you know what? Something just clicked. I love the way that that looks or sounds or feels. You just have a different, it feels different. The energy is different. And you're like, yep, that's it. Boom, whatever that means. So I would just kind of like really try to be in tune to that with whatever you're doing. And I think you can't go wrong just trusting that gut or that intuition. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So, okay, so Arting Empire asked, do you have any recommendations for music and sounds that you can use for free? So, definitely. So there's for sure there is let me see if I can pull it up here. I have a link actually that I've used. Okay, so there's one website in particular that I like to use. It's called Pixabay. So I'm gonna spell it real quick because it's um Pixabay. And this is all like everything is royalty free, commercial free. It's basically along the same kind of lines as like an Unsplash or like a Pexels, if you're familiar with those photo and video, those free websites. They're really high res photos. This is the same kind of thing. So Pixabay, they also have photos, but they do have sound effects, and this is usually where I get a lot of my sound effects. Excuse me. So it's just pixabay.com. And you can always go. YouTube also has a library that's free. Granted, the sound effects are, they're okay. I mean, they're not like the best, obviously, because it's free, but YouTube does have a built in audio library. Even if you're not uploading like your videos to YouTube, all you have to do is put in, yep, thank you, Sweetums, appreciate it. All you have to do is just create a blank channel on YouTube, and then you can utilize the audio library. So you know what? I might actually have a link for that. Let me see. I don't, you know what? I do, but I don't, it looks like it links to my YouTube channel. So I don't know that it would pull up for anybody, but it's basically just called YouTube Audio Library. So you can always cruise through that. Everything there is royalty free. and they're all MP3s, so you can download everything very quick. And the cool part about that is once you find, you know, like an editing software. Another thing I was going to mention actually, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but we talked about DaVinci Resolve yesterday for editing your YouTube videos, but there's also this phenomenal, like super professional, um, like audio feature that's kind of like an audio. It's like an audio program within DaVinci Resolve, and it has just this the EQ and everything that's built in. And again, this is a free software, so um, I definitely plan on using DaVinci Resolve for editing audio too. So that might be something I would play with. I don't know if that would be kind of like the end all to be all that I use, but I think definitely it's something that I can see using for sure. At least to kind of play around with and see what I like and see kind of what works, what doesn't work. You know, I think that's part of it too. Is when you're looking for tools, you really want to see, okay, what's really easy to use if I don't really have any experience? What can I get away with using? What do I think might work the best or sound the best? So I think that's kind of a good way to approach it. So awesome. Thank you, Sweetums. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just curious, like if anybody out there, if you guys, anybody does video editing at all, and I know this isn't necessarily about video editing, but um, do you guys have a specific software that you guys use? Anybody out there that you use something, or what do you use to edit videos and or audio? So if anybody out there has any suggestions that you already know and it's already kind of tried and true, we'd definitely love to know, like to share with the community for sure. Oh yeah. Hey RA, how you doing? Yeah, CapCut. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great option. Absolutely. I love CapCut too. And actually before I found so usually what I'll do is for like captions, I'll usually use CapCut for the caption part for the videos. And then I'll use DaVinci Resolve for the rest. So yeah, and CapCut is I believe I'm sorry if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure that CapCut is owned by TikTok. I don't know. That could be totally wrong. I thought I read that though somewhere that they let me actually before I lie to you guys on this live stream, let me actually let me see who owns CapCut. I think it's TikTok. Yeah, it is actually. So CapCut is a video editing app owned by TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. So they bought it in April of 20, sorry. April of 2020. Yeah, no, I mean, Grant, Shirley, and RA, you guys that use CapCut, how do you guys like it? I mean, it is perfectly fine for what, you know, what I'm doing. I mean, you know, what you guys are doing. I mean, and it's free. That's probably the best part about it. I mean, and it's relatively simple, I think, to use and to do the editing on there. So yeah, I'm just curious what your guys' experience has been with it. Because I mean, I like it. I don't have any complaints. Um, I think sometimes it's a little um, like it can be kind of buggy, but I think it might just be on my machine for some reason. I've tried the web version and I've also tried like the desktop version, but for some reason it's kind of buggy. I'm not sure. That could be just me. I always have those kind of weird problems like that. So um, yep. So hey, RA, I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to us, to me, and to the community. So, yeah, I really appreciate you, you know, hanging out with us and checking out this live stream. So, thank you, Grant and Shirley. Yeah, they used to be free, but now CapCut has made some of the features. Oh, dang, really? So I'm wondering if I just haven't like kind of um come across those yet, Grant and Shirley. You know, one of the ones I know for sure, like when you put you guys know when you put like the text, when you do like text on the screen or whatever, there's a bunch of different like pro selections that you can do for like text, like captions or whatever. That I've noticed a lot more. So it has the like little pro what do you call it? Like a pro label, that kind of thing for within CapCut, like a pro feature. So you have to upgrade that kind of thing. But I mean, I still think for what it's worth, like as a video editing tool, to me that and iMovie. So if you don't have a Mac, I would say, sorry, let me back up. If you have a Mac, I would say iMovie would probably be my first choice as far as beginners. Um, but then I would go to CapCut if you don't have a Mac. If you have a PC or if you have a Mac, you can use CapCut also. So, but I definitely agree. I think it's really easy to use. It's simple. It's pretty easy to follow. There's not too big of a learning curve. Um, so yeah, for sure. I agree with you guys definitely. Okay. Yep. So Dragon Rider asks, are there analytics to track how well your podcast is doing? Yeah. So definitely like within the platform itself, depending on who you upload through or who is actually like, kind of hosting your podcast, they definitely have their own, I'm sure everything is but basically the same, but I think it just probably looks a little bit different as far as going into analytics and, for downloads. Hey, Winnie, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you being here. I know I've seen you before in a live, right? I'm pretty sure I have. Thank you for being here. Regardless, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Yeah, so sorry, Dragon Rider. So I would say they're definitely analytics are probably all about the same, but they look maybe a little bit different, depending on what platform you use. But as far as like how many downloads per episode, analytics as far as like traffic, where's your traffic coming from, the majority of the traffic. And then if you're monetized, obviously it would show you information based on specific episodes and how much it's made. So yeah, awesome. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Winnie, I was telling the guys, the other guys, so we do definitely have a Facebook group if you'd like to join. I mean, it's free, it's public, so it's one of the probably the best and the quickest ways to like for us all to chat and kind of like talk. There's nothing wrong with posting comments, on videos and stuff, but that's also another option. So if you'd like to join, I know the link is up a little bit in the chat, um, so we can always post it again for sure. So if you're interested in that. So okay, so Earning Empire asked, how would you get guests for your podcast if you're just starting out? So I would say probably the best thing I could think of is probably, start local in terms of, who around your local circle or your, even if it's like family or friends, that kind of thing. I mean, people, you just really want people to, engage with you and kind of sit with you and be able to kind of go through the process of interviewing somebody. So I think it doesn't really matter who it is. Um, it just as long as you are able to practice and you know. Okay, I just posted it, Winnie. Thank you so much. So as long as you're able to practice and get all that, kind of get that experience under your belt, so to speak. So yeah, I think, and then as you kind of build your audience with like your podcast, um, sometimes I think brands and sponsors and collabs, I think some of that stuff like naturally will come towards you, will actually be attracted to you depending on what your niche is or your topic. But aside from that, I know as you build your audience, there could be people that are a part of your audience that actually know somebody who knows somebody, kind of one of those kind of deals where they actually suggest, hey, you should reach out to this person or that person. So I think there's like a ton of different ways in order to kind of attract guests or like collabs or that kind of thing. So I think it really doesn't hurt, even if you're trying to interview, your friend or your family member, relative, or your neighbor. Just as long as there's something, the topic is relatable and it's you kind of stay within like the niche and you're actually, you're not going like, hey, let's talk about, we went to the restaurant or the bar down the street and we threw back some drinks and we had the wings. As long as the topic of conversation I think is relatively close and is related to whatever your niche is, I don't think it really matters as far as like, kind of who's on, because really I think you can make anything interesting as far as like the topic goes. So, no, but those are absolutely great questions. All right, so I got to know. I feel like I thought there was a way to do a poll in this thing, but I'm gonna have to just figure it out one time when we're not actually live, like legit live. But all right, okay. So Earnings Empire asks, would you do sensitive or controversial topics? So for me personally, just me, I wouldn't, only because I feel like maybe that's not kind of in my wheelhouse in a sense, or like my personality, or what I enjoy, I guess, or like talking about. But I don't think. Sorry, I'm stretching my back. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as far as doing maybe a controversial topic or something that's sensitive. I think if that's related to your niche and it flows, as long as obviously you're following, we'll just say Spotify or Apple, whoever the platform is, if you're following their rules and their policies, like making sure that there's nothing, like no adult content, you're not saying or doing anything like threatening, or in that, like basically like the common sense stuff, then I think, yeah, absolutely you could cover, sensitive or like controversial topics, especially like typically a lot of the stuff that's like, if you're like a podcast that covers like trending topics or like celebrity gossip or that kind of thing, a lot of those topics and a lot of those podcasts, what do you even call them, channel, not even channels, but podcast, uh stations. I don't know. What do you what do you call them? I can't think of the name. But yeah, whatever, whoever it is, their audience might be really into that. So I think it's really going to be audience specific as far as how far you kind of push the envelope with that. So, but I think you'll know your own audience as far as how far you can really go. So no, but those are good questions. So I want to take a quick poll, or not a poll because I can't. It won't show up. But I'm just curious. Anybody that wants to answer, do you have a favorite podcast person that you listen to? Doesn't matter the niche. Doesn't matter. I'm just curious, like kind of like who you guys enjoy listening to. So I'll start real quick. So I really like into the paranormal side of things. So I like the Ghost Brothers, Amy Bruni, anything really that has to do with like ghost, paranormal, haunting, scary, spooky stuff. That's down my alley. Oh, and true crime. So, and anything true crime, but I don't have a specific true crime podcast that I listen to. So I'm just curious. Is there anybody out there you guys like listening to or like watching? Oh, that's awesome. That's cool, Sweetums. The old NPR serial podcast. Do they still have that? Is that still on, or is that, did they discontinue that? Shannon Sharp, awesome. I love that, Winnie. I gotta say, I'm not I haven't listened to his, but I do live in Colorado, so I am definitely a huge fan of Shannon Sharp. Since he was on the Broncos. One of the ones that actually I just thought of this. Um, yeah, right on. Awesome. That's cool, Sweetums. So one of the ones I was thinking of that I really enjoy, that is kind of out of left field kind of thing, is actually Steve-O. Steve-O's Wild Ride. I don't know if anybody, you know, I don't I don't know how, YouTube would censor it. There's a certain show from like, the late 90s, early 2000s, where they do like dumb stuff or whatever. Um, stunts and crap like that. So anyway, I enjoy his, just kind of like simply from like the insane experiences and stories and stuff that he talks about. So it's just so intriguing. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Earning Empire. I love one called By the Book, where they review books. Yeah, 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 definitely. Yep. So what Earning Empire, what do they have like a certain topic of books that they talk about, or is it kind of like just whatever they like? Yeah, Winnie, you're right. It is. It totally is. And the cool part is, I actually somehow caught like a little quick clip of one of his videos. He was talking about building a half pipe in his tour bus. Nice. Grant and Shirley, awesome. PBD podcast, very cool. I haven't heard of that one, but that's awesome. Cool. Earning Empire, nice. So self-help books, so you don't have to read them. Yep. That is my kind of book right there. I'm not the super biggest fan of reading, but it's all good. So yeah, I definitely um probably should listen a little bit more, that kind of thing. So, oh, nice. Nice, Grant Shirley. Patrick Bet David. Cool. So, is there a certain for you guys, like is there a certain I guess kind of topic or theme or I guess niche, we're talking about niche that you guys are kind of more drawn to, like high level, or is it just you enjoy the podcast because either you like the topics, you like the individual, you like the way they sound, or that? Because I know some things like um, some people that I've heard, I'm like, man, I could just fall asleep listen to you talk about whatever it is, like almost like a National Geographic kind of like documentary or something. You're just very peacefully listening to them talk about, the lion is going through the safari and whatever, drinking water and whatever it is. No, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. I love that. How, we all have we all have different interests and likes, but we can all come together and hang out and right on. Yeah. Awesome. Grant and Shirley, yeah, no, I totally also definitely. Yeah, Sweetums for sure. I mean, so you kind of went from podcasts over to audiobooks. That's cool. I mean, seriously, like they're like on a high level kind of, they're pretty much kind of the same kind of, the thought as far as like, listening to something, in the same. But no, that's cool. Yeah, Grand Shirley, you got yeah, I like Joe Rogan too. I mean, for me personally, like permanently, I always see him. Doesn't matter what he's doing, whether it's UFC, his podcast. I always view him as like the host of Fear Factor. I don't know if any you guys remember that show or seen the show in like the '90s, I think it was. But like back when he had hair, I that's what I permanently envision when I think of him. Like dudes over here, like talking to contestants about sitting in a tub with tarantulas or whatever, something crazy. But holy crap, are you serious? Earning Empire, wow. 30 million a year for a podcast. I'm just curious, like, how many followers does he have, or how big is his podcast? Like, followers does Joe Rogan. All right, so it looks like, okay, I just did a quick search. So Joe Rogan Experience has 16.5 million subscribers. Holy crap. So that was updated April 18th of 2024. So like what, 2 months ago? Geez, even that, like, holy crap. Yeah, I remember when he did that, he did an exclusive deal with Spotify and he couldn't go, not that he could go anywhere else, but like the deal was just for Spotify. And now I think he's opened up to like Apple and some other ones. Yeah, that's insane. 16.5 million listeners or subscribers. for Joe Rogan. And I'm sure it's honestly more now if it's been, a couple months since then, which is that's bonkers. That's crazy. That is a heck of a lot of people. That's insane. That just, can you imagine just you're just talking, you're having a conversation, you're chit-chatting with somebody, and just casually 16 million people are listening, at any given time. That's insane. Man. I just wonder, I mean, do you have somebody that doesn't have somebody who is like, we'll just say like kind of like an average person, no name person that wasn't like a pseudo celebrity, because he was from Fear Factory, he was from UFC, obviously. So if he didn't have those two, I guess, kind of, on his resume or qualifications, would that would that like would that have any bearing into how popular he is? Do you guys think? I mean, if he wasn't already a household name. Hey, McFly. Yeah, these are police lights in the bedroom. No, they're Govee TV lights. Hey, Katie, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. So you guys are here, part of a 30-day challenge, how to make money online. Today is day number 8 of 30, and we're talking about podcasting. So yeah, absolutely, Katie. You can earn from making money on a website. Definitely. If you'd like to stick around and join us on this 30-day challenge, we have um, business models for 30 days straight. We're going to be going live, so definitely come on and hang out. And all you have to do is subscribe and um, join us when we talk on these lives. So, I think yeah, earnings empire. I think it's because he embraces controversial topics. Yeah, he does. He definitely does, and he definitely has. He seems like relatively, I think, or tries to be relatively neutral, that kind of thing. Um, so, Grand Shirley, now you see these YouTube influencers like podcasts like Logan Paul, and then yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah, those guys like. So it's almost like, thank you, Sweetums. It's almost like you kind of have this certain level of fame, I guess, before, and then people either go into like, starting a YouTube channel or podcasting, that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, definitely. I feel like if you already have some sort of an audience or some sort of a built-in kind of following, then that obviously is absolutely crucial to help kind of at least get your podcast off to a good start. If you already have some sort of, I guess, kind of, you know, some sort of like community around you or people that are interested in what you have to say. So, like you guys mentioned, Grant and Shirley, like Logan Paul. I mean, obviously he did his YouTube stuff, his pranks and all that first. And then I don't know if then I think he did the podcast, I think, and then excuse me, and then I think he did wrestling. I think he does wrestling and he boxed, I think. I know his brother's a boxer too. So and he did the YouTube and they kind of did the same kind of path together. But yeah, it just makes me wonder like how does somebody with none of that celebrity name behind them, like how do they actually like it must take a while to kind of build up the audience, and actually build up a foundation. Hey, Katie. Yeah, so that's okay. It's okay that you don't have any skills. It's no problem at all. You've come to the right place. So our channel focuses on, beginner tutorials. Everything is step by step. So like really kind of like over my shoulder where I share, show the screen and I do the, click by click. So feel free to check out the channel if you'd like. And there's topics on everything from affiliate marketing to blogging to graphic design, side hustles, really everything in between. So yeah, all you got to do is just take some action and start, watching some videos. And that way you can start learning and, kind of figure out maybe what direction you want to go in. So it's okay. You don't have to have skills. You can learn. Yeah. Yep. Grant and Shirley, that's spot on. I mean, and that's something that I I think there's a certain, once you get to that level where you have the money that you can pay for a team, then I think it makes everything a little more easier or a lot more easier, and having people behind you. So, oh, that's so cool. That's awesome, Sweetums. I definitely personally am a huge fan of Game of Thrones. So definitely love that. Yeah, Katie. So I'm in the United States. That's cool. I love how people like actually take their YouTube content and they extract the audio and then that is what is used for a podcast because that way you're really kind of streamlining the process. You're not actually you're not filming twice or not necessarily filming, but you're not, recording audio twice. You're just extracting it from your current video. So that's pretty genius actually. I mean, that's definitely a way to streamline it and kind of make it a little more um, make it flow a little easier, especially and not have to do as much work. Yep. I'm from the US. Yep. Yep. Hey, McFly, welcome. Definitely welcome. Yeah. I know you kind of happened upon this channel, but we definitely love to have you be a part of this community. So, both of you guys. So, for sure, if you're interested, hang out, subscribe, and you can come along on this 30-day challenge with us. We'd love to have you. Yeah, Sweetums, that's true. So, because you can keep it in your pocket and listen to it, and you have to keep YouTube screen open, right? That's right. So, just with the audio, like the podcast or like an audio book, that type of thing, um, it's really cool that you can actually just put it in your pocket, kind of set it and forget it, and then just let it go. That's also helpful too if you're like running or if you're working out or if you're doing some type of exercise where you don't need to visually see. It makes it easier, I think, in order to kind of like follow along if you're just listening to it. So, hey, Katie. So right now where I am, it's 8:42 p.m. Okay, so Earnings Empire asked, do you need a website to go along with your podcast? So honestly, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think you do. Like, what I mean is, it's not mandatory. I think it's something that can definitely boost and kind of like, I think, you know, be a really nice compliment to a podcast because if you already have traffic to a website, already existing website, then you can embed, your podcast, that kind of thing. But I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you can do it directly just with a podcast, um, and then instead of like putting together a website, maybe what you do is you kind of build out, social media and that kind of thing. So if you don't want to do the website route, then you can just do social media. So I think that that's also something that would be definitely a good way to go. Um, so real quick, I just want to give a shout out for this challenge. So obviously 30-day challenge. Today's topic is podcasting. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about ebooks. So if you guys are super excited about that, I mean, super interesting. We're going to talk about creating them, how to publish them, where to publish them, how to market them, how to make money from them. It's basically like one of the supreme like digital products that you can create and market and then just sell and sell and sell. So for sure, if you guys are available tomorrow, come by and hang out. We're going to talk about ebooks tomorrow as the business model for tomorrow. So, Grant and Shirley. So, what about a faceless podcast? Yeah, definitely. I think um, so. What you can do is for sure. Yeah, you could. So, if you're gonna videotape yourself, you could almost like videotape like hours. So you're just kind of like talking and have something in the background, so you don't actually show your face. But then through the actual podcast itself, the audio, then people could listen to you that way. Is that kind of what you mean, Grand Shirley? Just the audio. Yep. Hey, sweet. I'm sorry. The comment was like in between the other two. Yeah. So definitely. Yeah. So KDP is definitely something that we would probably talk about because I know that's as far as like the Kindle Direct Publishing on Amazon. Yeah. So that's a great platform. Definitely. And another another thing that we're going to kind of cover is like if you have an ebook, how would you actually promote it and actually sell it so you could actually like make money like either on or off Amazon. So some different options and some different tools that you can use to sell your ebooks and then basically start earning passive income from the ebook. So yeah, that's going to be awesome for tomorrow. So hey KD, so I'm not quite sure what you mean about totally frozen. Um, you might want to have you reach out to like YouTube support, like customer support? Yeah, I think yeah, Grand Shirley, I'm sorry. Unless we're kind of misunderstanding what you're saying, I think you're talking about just the audio, right? For the ebook. I mean, sorry, the ebook for the podcast. I'm getting these two mixed up, these two topics. Yeah, that's a good option too, Sweetums, just to create a new channel. Yeah. See, it's all good. I mean, I don't mind kind of going off topic a little bit if it, kind of somewhat relates and it's all good. So, you know, as long as obviously we're all respecting each other, it's no problem at all. Okay, so Earning Empire asked, how would you incorporate listener interaction and feedback? So, what you would do is if you didn't have like a website for people to kind of leave comments and that kind of thing on, yeah, you could run it through different your social media accounts, or like you could create a different group, on LinkedIn or like Facebook, public group that people could join and they could talk about. They could actually talk about your podcast, that kind of thing, and have like a discussion forum. There's also different communities that you can. Some of them cost money that you can create and pay for, kind of like a message board type sense. So you can also do that too. As far as like having some interaction, and it could also be used as like a feedback source also. So because I know obviously when you're listening you can't really talk to the person who created it, unless you can specifically add comments, but I think on like Spotify and Apple I think you can just rate it. I don't think you can actually leave comments. So yeah, actually, so Earnings Empire, LinkedIn actually, it primarily is for jobs, but they also have a section on there for groups. So you can actually create a group and you can basically create a public group on whatever you want. And then you can utilize, hashtags and keywords to kind of draw people in. So you don't necessarily have to target your network itself, like your job network, people that you're connected to. You can target people from other like interests or, like for example, some of the topics we've covered, like if it's affiliate marketing or if it's blogging or, side hustles or that kind of thing, you can also target people that way as well. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Absolutely. So, yeah, there's actually, I did a video on the channel. If anybody is interested, on how to create a group on LinkedIn. So if you'd like to check that out, definitely, we have a link for that. And it's super easy. It's free. You don't have to do anything crazy. It's very simple to follow. So, all right, Dragon Rider asks, would you leverage current events or trends into your podcast content? Or would you just depend on your niche you've chosen? So I think I think for me personally, I would try to integrate some sort of kind of current events or maybe trends as long as they weren't like too far off left field. Excuse me, too far out of left field from what your actual main niche is or your main topic. So, for example, let's just say your niche is about baking or cooking or that kind of thing, and then you know then you like, okay, well, we know the Olympics is coming up right in February. I mean, sorry, February, in July. So could you talk about the Olympics? Because that's going to be trending here, if it's not already, trending in the next month or so. So could you work that into a baking or cooking type of podcast? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, maybe it doesn't make total sense, but I think as long as you can make the topic somewhat relatable and somewhat fit into kind of something that your audience, they wouldn't see as like, holy crap, this is out of left field, like this doesn't make any sense, like why are you talking about the Olympics when this is a cooking channel, or baking or that kind of thing. So I think as long as you keep everything as close as you possibly can, to the core topic, then I definitely think you could utilize and probably leverage some of the other topics, like current events, or things that are going on. So yeah, that's true, that's absolutely true. Dragon Rider says recipes that athletes would use. Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Or even like maybe like kind of like a health regimen, or like a food regimen, or like a specific dietary, if they have dietary restrictions. Maybe what's the best protein for athletes, or what's something that can really kind of increase, like your strength and your energy, like, drinking electrolytes, that, like little tips and tricks. I mean, that's definitely something that you could definitely kind of integrate for sure. Yep. As long as it stays kind of somewhat in the same course. But I definitely think that's a great idea, because then you're kind of capitalizing on what is popular, and using that kind of, I mean, to your advantage in a positive way, right? In a good way. So it's not like something that, you're totally going to be talking out of left field. So, oh, yeah, yeah. Earning Empire, yeah, I do. That was like bonkers. I mean, I don't even remember specifically some of the details, but I just remember like thinking like, oh man, just one of those, right? I mean, yeah, what was the, do you guys, anybody else remember that? Like some insane number of calories. Oh yeah. Earning Empire, sorry, it was like 10,000 calories. Holy crap. I mean, seriously, when you get to that level, it's like, dude, how much are you actually like, how many calories are you actually burning? It's like you have to do this insane workout for like multiple hours. That just bonkers. It just crazy. So I just have a quick question, kind of off. Excuse me. Where's that honey and lemon? I gotta get that. So I was gonna actually post this question to the YouTube community page. Um, would you guys, because you're on this live stream, would you guys be interested and seeing any kind of like behind the scenes, like once this live stream challenge is over, like seeing a more kind of like day in the life type of like a real, hey, this is what this is what I do, this is how I get ready, not dressed obviously, but like this is how I get ready, as far as like planning out my videos, my content, some of the tools that I use, how much I pay for them, kind of more behind the scenes, not as structured, but you know do you think anything like that would be interesting, like as far as a live stream goes? So I'm just trying to, I want to kind of expand more of like, to try to reach, kind of connect with you guys on more of like, you know, not just a human, but like more of a personal level. So I was gonna pull the subscribers on the channel to see if people would be interested in seeing something like that, like more of like, hey, this is an average day to day, that kind of thing. Just like a real example, like, hey, this is what I do or whatever. I did it once, and it was like kind of during the day, and I think it got really good. The response was really, it was really a really good response. So Awesome. Cool. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you, Winnie. I appreciate that. Thank you for your feedback. Earning Empire. Yeah, that sounds great. I definitely could totally do that. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So I feel like that would be more it would be more I don't want to say real, but it'd be more real to do it like in a live stream in a sense, just because you know that it's like live versus like, I'm not saying there's any smoke and mirrors with like an edited video, but everything is, pieced together and it's got to have the sound effects and all that crap, but um just to try to get more views, but yeah, definitely. Okay, that'd be awesome. So I definitely think I'll do that. I'll kind of figure out once this challenge is over, then I'll try to brainstorm like, Winnie, I'm going to take notes on what you're saying about making money online behind the scenes. I could show like the tools that I use, what I actually pay. I mean, I tell you what I pay in the videos, but to actually see, hey, this is what I'm paying. 120 bucks a year for Canva Pro, this and this, whatever it is. So, and I'm definitely thinking about I'm kind of playing with the idea of I definitely want to put together a website too, I think. That is kind of a one-stop shop for like all the resources I use, that kind of thing, and being able to keep everything in one place. So I think that would be super helpful too. So it's really just finding the time to do it and put it all together. So yeah, you guys probably know how it is. I mean, if you have some sort of a 9 to 5 or some sort of like, something you do like kind of day to day or, a, job or career or whatever. So it's really just trying to fit everything in. I feel like there's never enough time to do everything that I want to do. Yes, that's a great idea, Sweetums. Thank you. Downloadable PDFs for your content. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point too, and I think that would probably be um, part of like the website and kind of. I would love to put together like guides, like free downloadable like PDF guides. I think that would be so cool just to put that together and stuff that's relatable on this channel. And that way you guys have like information you can actually take instead of just listen to me blab and blab. Yeah, that's a great idea too, Sweetums. I think especially if it's stuff that I actually use and you guys know, hey, this is what I'm actually using legitimately. So I wouldn't recommend something I'm not going to use. Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea, Winnie. I mean, getting a VA or an intern, that's how you know I'm either getting tired or my voice is like going away. Yeah, no, I definitely I've thought about that. Yeah, I definitely really have. So definitely something to kind of think about and so yeah, I just want to take a minute once again to just tell everybody how much I appreciate you guys all being here. Um, Everybody who's old and who's new, who subscribed. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm working hard. I'm giving everything I got to this channel, so I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's called me. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Sweetum. You're right. Yeah, that's right. I really appreciate everything you guys do and the support that you give me. It definitely fuels me and gives me the energy to like keep going. Um, so as you guys may or may not know, this channel actually is not monetized. So we're not monetized. We don't make anything from YouTube right now. So if you guys would like to, or if you feel inclined, there's a pinned comment at the very top of the live chat. So feel free if you feel inclined to make any donation. We have Buy Me a Coffee, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, that kind of thing. Obviously, there's no obligation, but just want to throw it out there. So yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. No problem, Dragon Rider. Yeah, I'm always happy to be here and share experiences with you guys and the more interaction and stuff that we're able to do together, I think just makes this ultimately. I think it's important to build a community and find a little group. That's what I'm trying to do is like carve out like this little group, you know, within YouTube, but also like on the web, that kind of thing. So, but I definitely it really helps when you have you know, people that are, super eager to learn and they're just interested in, you know, wanting to better themselves, learning skills. regardless of your experience level. I think it's one of those things that awesome. Thank you, Earning Empire. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So I mean, you guys make it worth worth doing this every single day, day in and day out, especially now when we're doing this 30-day challenge. So once again, today was podcasting, obviously day 8. Tomorrow, day 9, is we're going to be talking about ebooks. So if you guys are interested in ebooks, definitely feel free to come back, hang out. If you're not yet subscribed, definitely please consider subscribing and come join the fun with us. Well, I definitely want to flip the camera around tomorrow and dive into Canva and show you guys how many insane, excuse me, how many insane templates they have. Yeah, so tomorrow is definitely going to be a fun one. Thank you so much, Grant and Shirley. I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you for joining the Facebook group. Thank you to anybody who's joined the Facebook group. We're going to build it together. And, one of the things I always told myself was, it doesn't matter like the numbers, how many people we get. I mean, it's always about interacting, bringing it down to the human level. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. So, all right, you guys, I think we're going to get ready to cut out here on this live stream. Thank you so much to everybody. I genuinely appreciate it. And as you can tell, my voice is, is getting ready to go. And we're only on day 8. We still have 22 days left. So, yeah, who's ready? We're doing 22 days. Like, by like day 27, I'm gonna be holding up like cue cards, like, sorry, I can't talk. But we're gonna push through this thing, and I'm excited. So, thank you guys again. I truly appreciate it for all of your support, and hope you guys have a great night. And hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow. If not, definitely catch one of the lives on replay for the first 8 days, I guess, including today. So, um, thank you guys so much. Be safe out there, and we will see you guys soon. See ya.